Today, adolescents are growing up exposed to both traditional and modern technology. They spend a lot of time where it can have both positive and negative outcomes. A new version of self is formed, the digital self. From year 2016, Philippines is the fastest growing market of smartphones, where about 3.5 million phones were shipped to the country on the first quarter of the year. The usage of smartphones doubled as years passed by, and now, about 30% of the Filipinos are smartphone users, and is not possible to increase in the next years. Statistics from Western countries shows that in 2012, 78% of online teens own a cell phone, 8 out of 10 teens own a desktop or laptop, 23% of teens have a tablet computer, and 50% send 50 or more text messages a day. People in cyberspace feel that they are free to speak out whatever they want to say, and most of the times some users do not hesitate to misbehave because mostly there are no punishments from authorities. Authority is minimized in cyberspace. That is why some users believe that they have power and it is okay to speak out without further analysis on their context. According to Seuler, people are more comfortable to express themselves through the internet than face-to-face interactions. This phenomenon is known as online disinhibition. Online disinhibition could have both positive and negative effects. It is the loosening of social restrictions and inhibitions that are normally present in face-to-face. These are the interactions that take place in interactions on the internet. Online disinhibition is divided into two categories: the benign disinhibition and toxic disinhibition. Not all disinhibition is a bad thing. Through anonymity or invisibility, a person may share his personal information about himself. From this opportunity to be an anonymous person on the internet, he could reveal his secrets, fears and emotions. Some people also show their act of kindness through online by buying things for a cause, donating cash or goods in the virtual world. People can be more generous and kind to others through online. It can also enhance self-esteem and self-confidence. As for Johnson, the internet could also be a place to give people emotional support, especially for those who have low self-esteem that sees the internet as an escape from what they are going through. Despite of all these benefits that we can get from the internet, there's always a bad side on everything. Harsh criticisms, rude languages, anger and even threats are now can be seen everywhere on the internet. There is also a dark side of the internet where anyone can have an access on crimes, pornography and other forms of violence. Toxic disinhibition: people tend to go on cyberspaces which they are not supposed to explore. The distinction between these two categories is not always clear. For example, a friendly email relationship might evolve into something more intimate in a way that might cause one of the correspondents to feel overly vulnerable or anxious. An exchange of seemingly hostile words, as another. Formally, we define cyberbullying as willful and repeated harm inflicted through the use of computers, cell phones, and other electronic devices. It is when someone repeatedly makes fun of another person online, or repeatedly picks on another person through email or text message, or when someone posts something online about another person that they don't like. Cyber harassment is the adult form of cyberbullying, where it uses information and communications technology or ICT to harass, control, or manipulate a child, adult or group without a direct or implied threat of physical harm. There are some ways to manage online disinhibition. You should not post anything you would be embarrassed for certain others to see, and also be careful about oversharing. There might be some predators who will take advantage whenever you attempt to share your thoughts or secrets online. Digital identity refers to anything that describes a persona and individual presence on the digital world. There could be another and different self-presentation when a person goes online. Social media allows people to adopt identities independent of the bodies and the markers it contains. Turkle said that on the internet, people can be whoever they want to be. A person can completely change his whole personality online. But what goes online stays online. User ID lets a person associate persistent ID for a single user with its data from devices. Username is a unique sequence of characters used to identify a user and allow access. Consciously or unconsciously, people may feel that the imaginary characters they created exist in different space, that one's online persona along with the online others live in a make-believe dimension, separate and apart from the demands and responsibilities of the real world. This pertains to dissociative imagination. For them, identity online is just a game. Flow people act in a fantasy game is not always how people act in a real world. Absent face-to-face cues combined with text communication can alter self-boundaries. People may feel that their minds have merged with the mind of the online companion. Reading another person's message might be experienced as a voice within one's head, as if that person's psychological presence and influence have been assimilated or introjected into one's psyche. This refers to solipsistic introjection, a notion that it's only in their heads or minds. When people don't know what a virtual person looks or sounds like, people tend to assign traits to those individuals, which is an imaginary interaction with the introjected character. Dissociative anonymity might convince the users that the behavior they show do not represent themselves as long as they stay anonymous. It is easy to hide your identity on virtual interactions, especially if you're very careful on your actions online. Do you ever wonder, how do people present themselves offline and online? Self-presentation is a range of strategies that people adopt to shape what others think of them. A person who is using self-promotion expects to receive respect from people. He is trying to show that he is an effective person or a winner. He always speaks proudly about their accomplishments and makes people aware of it. Using ingratiation when presenting yourself to others has a desire to be likable. People who use this expect affection from others. He often compliments others and shows that he is interested in one's personal lives to make him look like friendly for others to like him. People who use exemplification have a goal to achieve worth from others. He expects others to feel guilty on their actions. He often tries to appear like a hard-working person so that the other people around him will feel like they are not doing their best on their job. A person who uses intimidation tends to appear dangerous, where he expects others to be afraid of him. It is common when they are expecting others to finish a specific task. Using supplication would make a person appear helpless or unfortunate. He aims to achieve nurturance from other people, where he would act as if they don't know anything or they know less so that others will help him out. He pretends not to understand to gain help. Self-enhancement is also related to a self-protection motive. People engage in self-protection when they strive to deny undesirable aspects of themselves. Self-enhancement refers to claiming as much good as one can about one's strengths and achievements. Development on a person's social aspects can be greatly influenced by technology due to insufficient time spent on real-life social interactions. Online encounters may be easy and convenient, but it is still different in real-life interactions. Studies shows that others on the internet constitute a distinctive looking glass that produces a digital self that differs from the self formed offline. It may seem two different people with a totally different personalities, but it is really only one person. Abuse of technology always leads to negative consequences. It is not always the technology's fault. The users should always be responsible and aware on what they post and what they do on the social media. Users should be careful on the texts, images or videos that they will post, for it might cause harm to others and to themselves as well. A person should set his boundaries and limitations for him to be safe on how the people around him will behave towards them online. In case someone attempts to break the rules and oversteps the limits, the user will be aware and know what he will do. This shows one of the types of online disinhibit, the asynchronicity. It allows a person to think more carefully on what he would like to say before posting anything, which could help on both sides. It lessens the pressure that mostly happen on real-life conversations that makes them to think that it is easier to present themselves online than they do offline. People cannot see each other in many online environments. One type of online disinhibition, which is invisibility, will be included here. Because of security, most online users will choose to use the private mode. Invisibility may encourage a person to make different personality online. A man may represent himself as a woman and vice versa. Being an online and keeping it private gives the person an opportunity to do things which cannot be done in face-to-face interactions. In a traditional manner, boys are expected to conceal their feeling while girls are free to have their mood swings whenever they want to. They say using emojis doesn't fit to men for it makes them look like a gay. Stereotyping is really a big problem in the society, especially when it comes to gender roles. Adolescents find the internet as a safe place to express themselves without any hesitation, for they don't have to state their personal information. Yet it is more recommended not to go further from your true self just to show the internet people the better but fake version of you. It is much okay to express your thoughts from your real identity to avoid deceiving others. According to Hannity, adolescents tend to watch television programs with sexual contents more than the adults. By watching television, sex, it can influence an adolescent's sexual attitude and behavior. This could lead some of the users to more likely engage to premarital sex and be addicted to sexting, which refers to sending or receiving sexually explicit messages or images with the use of mobile phones or computer. From this topic, an online person like you should know your limits and boundaries whenever you are interacting with people, especially on the internet where you don't really know who are you talking to and what